Hello, welcome to this update for the Western Pacific and also Asia. So let's see what's happening. As you can see here, there's this very big typhoon already to the east of the Philippines. This is Typhoon Nando or Typhoon Ragassa, and it turned into a typhoon yesterday. It was a tropical storm, and it's rapidly intensifying. Some explosive intensification is still happening and will continue until Sunday. And then there's this other typhoon just to the northeast of that one. So there are two simultaneous storms growing very big. But the real threat is this one here, Typhoon Ragassa. So it's still heading west, northwest towards northern Luzon and southern Taiwan. It will pass right in between Luzon and Taiwan, but especially it might be a very big threat for some islands like Basco, Calayan, and these areas. So here we have there's Typhoon Negui there in the open Pacific and Typhoon Ragassa here. And then there's the remnants of tropical storm Mitag, still spots of China. And then here there's Typhoon Ragassa. You can see there's a lot of convection, so really cold cloud tops. This is intensifying very fast. And then there's the official track. It takes it north of Luzon and into the South China Sea, potentially passing south of Hong Kong. So this might be a big threat for Hong Kong as well. So please monitor, and then it will pass just north of Luzon there over those islands. So here there's some ensembles. The GFS takes it right through that same area, potentially into southern China down the road. The Canadian model is closer to Taiwan, but also goes into China. So we're monitoring this very closely. There's the HAFS A, the hurricane model. It shows it's there still intensifying, and then it goes. It does intensify this into a super typhoon 934 millibars, and then it deepens even more to 925, just south of China. So the HAFS A is trying to intensify this more in the South China Sea, while most other models have the strongest intensity north of the Philippines. So there's the HWRF. It does intensify this to 933 millibars, even 932 as it passes around Basco between the Philippines and Taiwan. And then it is goes. This is by Monday, so the worst impacts are expected between Sunday night and Tuesday morning around Basco, Calayan, Northern Luzon, and Taiwan. So this goes, and then it weakens a little bit in the South China Sea, but still a very strong storm by the time it reaches China. So let's see. There's the has a parent to just to see a broad view, so it does show this ghost that intensifies very fast, likely passing north of Luzon as a super typhoon. This goes, it tries to intensify more in the South China Sea and then loses strength near southern China, but it could be a very dangerous wind threat towards Hong Kong still. So please be aware in those areas. There's the Philippine Meteorological Service. They do have storm surge warnings already for Basco, Calayan, and even Northern Luzon. They have like more than 3 meters of storm surge in spots of the islands there, and like 2 to 3 meters in Northern Luzon. So please stay safe in those areas as this passes by. Stay away from coastal areas with coastal flooding, and be careful. So residents living in low-lying areas advised to stay away from coast or beach, cancel marine activities, move to higher grounds away from the coast before the storms arrives, and away from storm surge-prone areas. And be aware of the latest updates. These links in the description here so you can check. Please stay safe. And there's like they have their own forecast track, and this emoji is a super typhoon. So this typhoon and the emoji super typhoon expected north of the Philippines. So this goes into as a typhoon until China. So please be careful, and still very heavy rainfall overland is expected in the Philippines. Please be careful. Nando will enhance the southwest monsoon as it approaches the landmass, northern Luzon, and east part central Luzon this afternoon, and some highest wind signal. That's like some wind advisors. And then the southwest monsoon trough of Nando brings strong gale force gusts following areas, especially coastal upland areas exposed to wind. So this information here is for the mainland in the Philippines in Luzon, but there around Basco and those islands where the eye of the storm will pass will be way stronger. I expect some catastrophic damage possible across like Basco, Calayan, especially if this passes right over there. So species, the storm surge there might be higher than 6 meters, depending on the strength of this storm. There might be some widespread catastrophic flooding. So please stay safe. If you are ordered to evacuate, do it now because the storm is like 1 day away. So there's still time, but the longer you take, the more dangerous it is. So when it's very close, just stay inside and stay safe, but follow the order of local officials because this is a life-threatening situation unfolding. So please follow local advices. Please stay safe. So let's see. Nando's forecast moves generally northwestward during the next 12 hours before turning west-northwest towards the extreme northern Luzon. On the forecast track, Nando may pass closer, make landfall over the Botany Islands between Monday afternoon and evening. May exceed the Philippine area. Responsibility by Tuesday. Yeah. So please stay safe. Nando continue to intensify in the Philippines Sea, may reach super typhoon category by Monday, close approach to Bhutanese Buyan Islands. So please stay safe. Those areas, this is an extremely dangerous situation. Here, I made a summary about what will happen. I translated it here. So please pause the video to read this if you don't understand English, because this is extremely dangerous situation. You need to know this information. And then there's more stuff down here. And then there's, in case you are in China, please pause and read this. And this link here is on the description. So just click on the link in the description. You can find the translation. So please stay safe. Here, the European model ensembles. So there's Ragassa there, that will pass as a super typhoon north of the Philippines, and then it will go further into China. And after that, there's still a signal for another weak system possible further south. So better watch that. And there's like the other typhoon there. So this is 120 hours out. Let's put 240. So the other typhoon might curve back south and approach Japan, but most model guidance just keeps it further out to sea. So most likely it will just stay out to sea, but there's still some guidance pointing it westward. So better just watch just to be safe. And there's the Google AI model that it just takes that storm further out to sea into the Pacific, and it takes Ragassa as a super typhoon north of Luzon, and it has this other signal afterwards in the southern Philippines. So it tries to develop something there, goes to the central Philippines, into Vietnam and China again. So after Ragassa and Nauri, there's another signal to watch, but it's still kind of far. Let's focus on this storm now. That'll be extremely deadly. So please stay safe in those areas. And it's hard to estimate the exact wind gusts, but most models suggest around the islands north of Luzon, there might be some wind gusts higher than 230 km per hour. Especially, it depends on how much this strengthens because sometimes uh, they the They strengthen a lot the rapid intensification, like they take full advantage of it, and sometimes the models don't even see that. But sometimes, if there's wind shear or this or that, it can weaken a little bit. So we only see as it gets closer. But for now, the models are already showing some 231, 236 km per Gus. The northern Bhutan Islands showing like 219, and slightly earlier than that is showing around Basco like 218, Kalayan some 192, but especially later in the day showed like 238 or Basco Monday afternoon. Monday evening, so please stay safe. This will be extremely dangerous storm. 212. The GFS, don't even look at it, but there's the icon show like 235, 217, might be even stronger slightly earlier in the day. Like it has even 262 km per Gus further out to sea. And that's just the northern Bhutan Islands. If you go further north towards like Saptang, Basco, is showing the worst of it. 269 km per Gus, 268 around Basco's central areas, and Ivana 271, the icon. The European is like a little bit less strong, but it does show Monday, like especially Monday morning around Basco, so 175 to 200 km per Gus. So the worst is further south on the European, especially like Calayan and this other island here, but it does have some substantial impacts across Basco. So please stay safe in those areas. The GFS is slightly further north too, but the GFS not so good on wind gusts. It doesn't show that strong. So please stay safe in those areas. And if it becomes like category 5, I think some localized gusts might reach close to 300 km per hour if it reaches like peak intensity. But still depends on how the intensification will continue happening. But all signs are pointing that it's still intensifying very rapidly because of like 8 hours ago, this structure was much different, and now it already has an eye and everything. So it's really becoming a big monster. So please make preparations in those islands, follow the advice of local officials, and please be ready, especially Basco, Calayan, northernmost Luzon, and southern Taiwan as well. Some dangerous impacts there and storm surge. So please warn others, stay safe the best way possible there. And now a quick rainfall outlook does show next 5 days as this passes over those areas. The European does show 300 millimeters in a few islands there in Basco, like 200, close to 300, and some other islands like 320. So not only the storm surge will cause flooding, but the rainfall itself might cause some catastrophic flooding. So please be careful. Northern Luzon to 400 millimeters even, some rough estimates, and then does show around Manila to 126, more spots there to 200 to 400. So please stay safe. Northern and western, north and western Philippines, more areas in the South China Sea, the east coast of Taiwan might get hammered as well. Some 378 to 400 millimeters. So please be careful with flooding, and flash flooding can be deadly, but especially like in Hong Kong, in such a big city, there might be some 200 millimeters or more, and even some tropical storm to hurricane force winds if it passes close enough. So showed like 215 to 217 millimeters in Hong Kong. In other spots nearby, more than 100. In all those areas, southern China, more than 100 millimeters. So please stay safe and make some preparations already there, and shows even more spots in eastern China, not because of typhoon, but because of some fronts, so some heavy rain in other areas. So be aware, in over Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Laos, in other areas, from the influence of the system and just some tropical downpours in general, some flooding possible in those areas. Please stay safe. Spots northern Vietnam, Chu, and like across Palau. Micronesia and those areas, some very heavy downpours because the next system trying to form. So please stay safe there, and especially because of this system. There's the icon too, shows until the 25th. It has those areas of Basco, Calayan, more than 300 meters. The GFS is 300 to 400, even in the open oceans, some 400, some islands there. So please stay safe. There's this other model, but it covers just Japan and Taiwan. But this model does have like some 600 meters in Taiwan because it's a high resolution model. That might be too much, but you never know. It's possible, especially in those islands if it passes right over you, which most likely it will. So please stay safe in those areas and somewhere over Japan as well, especially northern areas, some fronts and a few storms. So stay safe, and just checking the rest of Southeast Asia shows some possible flooding downpours in eastern India, the Bay of Bengal, in other spots in the Bay of Bengal across Thailand, Myanmar, especially southern Myanmar. Still some downpours in Bangladesh, western India, and southern areas. The northwest is quiet now, but still some storms in Nepal and other areas. So stay safe. A few more storms southwest in Sri Lanka. And yeah, so just checking here some models again for those storms. So let's see, West Pacific. So please stay safe. There's like the GFS. It does strengthen to 915 millibars super typhoon, the GFS. So 915 or 945 because it keeps covering there. Yeah, it might be around 945 millibars on the GFS. And then it passes right into Hong Kong or further south. And then later the remnant moisture moves into Southeast Asia. And after that, the GFS develops another storm in the Philippines by the 27th, so that might be a concern. And the GFS takes it into China again, so those areas have to really be monitoring next few weeks because there's this typhoon now. You should pay very, very close attention if you are near and if you are in the path. Be you need to be prepared already. But after that, after it passes, you still might have some stuff to worry about. So now shifting our eyes to this other typhoon, the North Pacific, it just goes out to sea. Some say it might approach Japan, but like the European model just lingers it there for a very long time, and then it tries to go west, closer to Japan, but by the 25th, and then the European takes it a very close call to Eastern Japan on the 28th. So there's still some threat it might approach Japan, but not so likely. And then after that, the European has the broad disturbance in the Philippines on the 24th, and might go into the South China Sea again. So still monitoring later. But yeah, there's the Canadian model of the super typhoon now. It goes into China, slightly north of Hong Kong, so that might be better for you. But most models take it into Hong Kong or further south. And then after that, the Canadian weakens the other typhoon, but still the remnants pass close to Japan. And even after that, on September 30th, he has another storm in the Philippines into the South China Sea. So please be monitoring. I know there was a lot of information, but focus just on this storm now, and after it passes, we'll see what happens next. But please stay safe in those areas now, in the Philippines and Taiwan, not theirs. So just checking the rest of Asia still shows some strong storms in the Black Sea and around the Caucasus, northern Iran, the Caspian Sea, close to 100 meters, some strong disturbances and some rain and snow. So please stay safe there too. And snow shows in the mountains, in the Caucasus, and in Iran, even to some 11 to 13 centimeters, even like 20 centimeters the Caucasus. So stay safe in those areas, even northern Iran, in eastern Turkey, Azerbaijan. So be aware, shows more snow the Tian Shan Mountains, especially northern China, Kazakhstan, and some snow central Mongolia, spots in the Himalayas in central China especially. But in Russia, it's basically a highway of winter storms. So starting northern Russia and all the way into Siberia, a lot of snow, like all these areas. Southern Russia is quiet and Western Russia kind of quiet too, except for the areas close to Finland there, it's a little bit of snow. But this area of Eastern Russia might get hammered. There's the GFS, still areas like even 65 centimeters next 7 days. So stay safe. Shows Saturday, Sunday, still some fronts, those areas, Central Russia, with snow until Tuesday, Wednesday. Those systems just continue with rain and snow in those areas of Russia. So be aware those areas and later might need to watch the West again. So stay safe. There's the temperature still shows already shows very cold. Northern Russia is -13. Siberia. The west is still warmish, and southwestern Asia still in the 40s degrees Celsius. Still very hot there. So stay safe. This goes still like does warm up a lot. Most of Southern Asia, India, to Pakistan as well during the day, so be careful. And shows during the night, this gets very cold right across Siberia, even to -18. Shows spots in the mountains, Tian Shan, Himalayas, some cold temperature still. And then Sunday, Monday, this trend continues. Might get colder northwestern Russia slightly there because of some below average temperatures, but then next Wednesday into Thursday still shows a similar trend with more cold air over northern Russia, those areas. So stay safe in those areas and still shows some strong winds from these systems, like they're in the Caspian Sea now, slightly stronger. There is a low pressure system in Japan right now as I speak, with some damaging winds and rain. So be careful. Shows like Monday the 22nd to Scandinavia, Finland and Russia, especially across the northwestern Russia, some damaging winds. Spots in the Middle East as usual, but that does show still across northern Russia, Wednesday, Thursday, watching those fronts, and maybe further to the end of this month across the Bering Strait in eastern Russia, some stronger winds, but still watching, nothing certain yet. But please be careful in those areas, especially this typhoon might cause some catastrophic damage. Please stay safe.